Yes, indeed. We're back on Cricbuzz Comm Box. And last time on the 15th over, I was chatting with Michael Vaughan and we had this little food analogy going about the appetizer, the main course, and of course, the dessert to follow. I'm joined by another fellow foodie in Joy Bhattacharjya. Joy, we're getting to that stage when India will need to put on the kind of desserts that they did in the previous game. Are they always leaving it a little too late for a huge score?
Yeah, I think they're leaving it a little too late for a huge score, and it doesn't really help because they've got a batsman in the crease who's really finding himself playing his play back in one-day international cricket. I mean, Rishabh Pant has been really successful in all the formats, but this is a format that he hasn't played too often, so he'll be looking at it very differently from most of the other players. And I think the way we look at this game, I think he's going to be a bit cautious. But remember, the other thing with Rishabh is he also has the ability to, after that, go and really, really exercise his powers towards the end. So Rishabh can heat up fast as well, but he'll really need to if India needs to get a challenge. Because, India was almost sort of going into slumber, doing the normal things, playing it, milking the bowling. You can milk it that much. After a while, you need to really grab it, and that they haven't done that so far.
Yeah, there was a time when we were following the fortunes of Kohli and Rahul in that partnership. And at one particular ball, their strike rate was identical. It was at 84.5. Now, which isn't bad, but Joy, you'd assume that once you've got sort of said, both batsmen in their 40s, one of them has the license to go hard, and they didn't.
Absolutely. And, Kohli is a good Delhi boy. He should know that would not get him anywhere close to Delhi University. If his strike rate doesn't go into the high 90s, that's not going to get us anywhere. Kohli should realize that. And I think they all think that they can accelerate towards the end and do it. And the fact of the matter is, because this series doesn't have any significance beyond its own existence, one of the things they'll be all doing is, let me just bat myself into some nice form before the IPL. Let me just feel good in the crease. Let me just put up the numbers out there. And they've all done that, except that Kohli not getting a century is perhaps the only thing that was unexpected about this entire story today.
Yeah, we were all talking about the 500 days. He actually looks set for it. Michael Vaughan was almost going out on a limb saying, I can see a Kohli 100 today. And you thought when on 35 he was dropped by Jos Buttler, okay, this has got to be his day. Unfortunately, that act played out again. This time around, Buttler said, no, I'm not closing the jaws before the ball hits.
Absolutely. I mean, I was just looking at it. It was absolutely, till other than Buttler keeping his hands open, it was exactly the same. Slight extra bounce, same shot, everything happened. And literally, lightning striking twice, that was literally lightning striking twice. And the look on Buttler's face, and the conversation he and Adil had, we couldn't hear it, but you could make out from a distance that they were very relieved.
Yeah, I mean, Adil Rashid certainly would be relieved because, again, like in that previous game, if we have a look at England's bowling, neither of the spinners has sort of set the place on fire. Moeen Ali, 10 overs for 47. Acceptable. But Adil Rashid once again has gone in excess of 6.5. That wicket will be a huge bonus for him. But Michael Vaughan made an interesting point, Joy. Reece Topley, as in when he comes back to complete, maybe not his 10, at least 8, it'll be an interesting test for him because he looked good early on with that bounce, but how will he do after being out on the field in that heat for so long?
I agree. I think Reece Topley hasn't had played too much cricket. He's looked very good up front when the ball was swinging. Also, if you see his record also, he's played 4 counties in the last 6 years. He's been changing Essex, Hampshire, Surrey, Sussex. He's changing. What he needs is to be calmed down and settled in. And the moment the ball is not doing too much, he's trying to do too much. In one-day cricket, that if you're not going to get smashed after the ball stops swinging, just stay with your lengths. I think he's trying too much, and that is the problem. Of course, fortunately, England has 6 bowlers, so you may not see too much of him at the back end of things. But he had a good opportunity, but I think he squandered it a bit after that really excellent start.
Well, now we're looking, as I said, what will be the just desserts, every pun intended, going into the last 13 or 14 overs. Hardik Pandya has padded up. Krunal sitting next to him, wondering, should I pad up, be a little cheeky, have a little family fight to see who can go in next? But it's obviously Hardik in next. How much are they eyeing from this point onwards? Because the one thing England has done is they're getting through their overs far quicker. We might actually finish at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. No, I mean, the over rate has been improved. Moeen also bowling a lot more, perhaps. the over rate is substantially improved. But I think, yeah, if you look at it, 16 overs, if they said that, okay, we're going to try and go at about 10 and over, 160, they'll still say that, 330 is possible, because after that, they'll say that, once we go down to about 37, 38 overs, treat it like a T20 match. Just treat it as if you're coming to bat in a T20 match and smash it. I think that's how they're going to look at it.
Well, we've got a wonderful set of predictions that we're going to keep an eye on between Michael, Joy and myself. Mine is a little too high. It needed a very different sort of start for Team India for my 340 to be in play. But realistically, I think, Joy, you would be favourite at the moment. Something around the 290, 300 mark is what we're looking at. Is that what you'd punt on at the moment?
Rishabh Pant has made a habit during last year's IPL of proving me wrong on that. Every time I predicted a score based on that, he's gone and smashed it and done it. So I think Gautam, you and Michael are definitely in it still.
And here I thought you were just trying to make a bad pun. When I said punt, you said punt. Apparently you were not. You were actually referring to Rishabh. But that's okay. I'll let it go. You don't get the worst joke of the day award for today. We'll see you at the end of the innings. This has been Cricbuzz Comm Box. We'll see you on Cricbuzz Live.